This one-click AI agent is absolutely insane. So what we actually created here was a game, like you can see, in just a few moments, and it is absolutely the best game I've ever played in my life, to be honest with you, as you can see right here. Now, if you want to build out tools, apps, games, etc., using this sort of process, it's quite easy, and I'll show you exactly how to do it in 1 or 2 clicks. So you can see, for example, here we said build a JS 3D SEO simulator runner game using 3JS. Core idea here, blah, blah, blah. Here's what you're going to do. And you can see the agent just went off, did its magic, built it out. Boom, shakalaka, we've got this ready to go. We can also share this with our friends if we have any. And you can see here, we can click on start game and then share this. In fact, I'm going to share it with some of my friends inside the AI Profit Boardroom. Make sure you sign up, link in the comments description. And if you go to the SEO section over here, scroll down to the Genspark section, you'll be able to get access to that game if you want to test out, along with a bunch of other stuff that I'll show you exactly how we built in like literally one maximale 2 clicks. All right. So basically how we're doing this, as you can see right here using this process. So this is the game that we built. And again, you can use this for building apps, tools, games, whatever you want. You can do this using a very simple workflow. All right. So here's the way that I like to do it is I like to come up with an idea on ChatGPT. That's stage 1. Then we're going to use Genspark, which is the one-click AI agent. And then after that, we're going to go into testing mode and maybe make a few tweaks back and forth. All right. That's where the one-click magic happens. We'll put a number 1 over there, numero uno. But essentially, that's the whole process, all right? So what you can see here is the 3D runner game. We literally built it in 1 single click. Now, if you want to do the research, here's the way that I usually do it. For example, if you go back to our chats on the left-hand side, let me show you an example. So we said, give me a prompt to build this out, SEO simulator game. Play the Google algorithm, choose strategies, etc. And then you can see it actually just went off and gave us a prompt directly. And then what you can do using that process and that prompt is you just go off to Genspark and you say, go off, do this, work your magic, my friend. And you can see it's actually built out, for example, a website right here. All right, so you can build out like lead generation websites. The design tends to be nicer than from what I've seen from other tools, for example, like Bolt or Lovable. I would actually say the design is much nicer. Look at that beautiful gradient right there. If that doesn't capture your attention, what does? And then you can see this also links out to our funnels to make us money on this lead generation website. And you can build out apps, tools, games, whatever you want in like just 1 click. Literally, look at this. We said, do this, pressed enter. So 1 singular click, it went off, it did its magic, and we have the London SEO directory right here. Now, you might be asking as well, okay, how do you deploy this? So you've got 2 options essentially. So you can go inside the chat here and then click on open new window, and this will be deployed on a subdomain as you can see. So that's one way to get this deployed. Or the other option is that you can actually download the code. So you can download the code or just copy and paste it, save that as a HTML, plug that HTML into a folder, and then host it on something like Netlify. All right, so if we go over to Netlify, we can just host websites directly inside here. Let me just log in. And it's very simple. You can see all these different subdomains that were built. We even built, for example, and this was with Manus, but it's the same process. We actually built the AI Profit Boardroom website using these 1-click AI agents. So this whole website was built with AI, and it actually ranks directly on Google for our target keywords. So if you type in AI Profit Boardroom, you can see our website ranking numero uno over there. It gets 88 clicks in the last 77 days. And how easy and simple was that? It was built in 1 click with our AI agent. And again, like all you do is you just go over to Genspark, you're like, boom. The other thing that you can do if you're not sure what to build, right? Let's say, for example, you want to build something, whether that's a video or image or a super agent tool or game app or whatever, then you can say, okay, give me 10 realistic apps, tools, websites, games that you can build with numbers, right? Number each one. And then we'll ask Genspark to come up with the ideas. Bear in mind, Genspark is essentially like a wrapper, right? So got all these different AI agents and these APIs and these tools linked together, put it into a nice little UI, and then you can just go off and do your magic, right? If you go back to the home here, you can also say, okay, specifically for my industry. All right, so let's say, for example, I'm in the SEO industry. So give us a bunch of ideas. So for example, like SEO ROI simulator, that would be easy to create with this one-click AI agent. So let me grab that and we'll say, okay, create numero 4. We'll hit enter. And that's just going to go up and create number 4 for us. All right. And that should be really simple and easy to do, actually. I don't think that's going to take a long time at all. But you can see that literally you can go from no idea, like literally, I have no ideas, to here's 10 more realistic apps you can build. And then in one click, you can say, I just create number 4, mate. Just go off and do that. And then it will go off and do it like you can see. So it's pretty amazing. I've never seen anything like this before. There's never been anything as advanced as like this as well, because, for example, we've all seen stuff like ChatGPT Operator or Convergence AI, or, for example, Claude Computer Use. I wouldn't say any of them are anywhere near as good as this method, because for the average layman, the lay people out there, they can just go off and build app stores and games, and it doesn't really require any skill, right? But you can build something that's faster, better, and cheaper than a whole team of developers. That's a crazy and scary thing. And, this is not just everything that you can do inside Genspark. It can actually do a lot more, but I'll come on to that in a second whilst this is building out. Now, if you're looking for something with a backend, I've never really tested that directly with Genspark directly. So, for example, let's say you're trying to build an app or a tool or whatever where people can log in. For stuff like that, I would check out my video on YouTube about Data Button, because Data Button can link your website to an API like Supabase. And with Supabase, you can create the login details. Potentially, what you could do as well is you could say, okay, can you help me link this to a login page with Supabase? All right, and Supabase, it just allows you to connect different apps and tools so people can log in on the back end. And then we can say, yes, go off. By the way, you can see the SEO ROI calculator on the right-hand side here. And then it can start going off and linking Supabase authentication for you so that people can log in directly with their email address, right? So you can have a login for emails and that sort of thing. But it's, if you want like a back end where people can log in and they get their own dashboard and all that sort of stuff, I would say that's probably going to take you maybe 5 to 10 hours just to properly build it out and make sure it works. It's the same with all these tools, right? Data Button, all these other tools, they take a long time to build out something with a back end too. But if you just want a basic front end, a tool that you can show, an app, a game, whatever, then you can see how easy this is to do. All right. And look at that game. Isn't that fantastic? It's just incredible. We've got the SEO performance report. You can see what helped our rankings. You can see what hurt our rankings. And you can see that we can share our results, or we can just play that again. All right. And we're good to go on there. Look at them ducking and diving like that. Legend. Oh, I mean, it's better than GTA, mate. Could be the new RuneScape. There we go. Yeah, you can see here how it's going to take a long time to really get that Supabase authentication. But Supabase is pretty easy and simple to set up once you go back and forth inside the APIs and that sort of thing. And you can see it coding away right there. So if we actually go to the code section, you can see it's code and stuff. I'm actually going to close that for now, but you get the idea. Like tools, apps, games, websites, etc. Very easy to do directly here. The other thing as well, you don't have to, for example, set up like a proper contact form. You could use something like Google Forms, give it the embed code, and then on these lead gen websites, you don't even need to create a backend. You can just have a submit request. There's like a Google form, or even I think you could take the embeddable widget from something like Go High Level and then plug that into your website as well, right? That would be super easy and simple to do. So yeah, if you want a backend, it's going to take a lot longer. But if you just want a basic front end with no login, going to be way faster, way easier and way faster. All right. Now, you might be saying, okay, how does this compare to something like Manus? Which is a great question. All right. So I'm going to show you how this compares. Again, if you want to see my best creations for stuff like this, feel free to check that out inside the AI Profit Boardroom. You can see some stuff that we built here. For example, if we go on to, this is another directory website that we actually built out with Manus. And the thing that I found with Manus is like, it takes a long time to build stuff out, right? Whereas, for example, Genspark, it seems to be a lot quicker. And also, you don't need an invitation code for Genspark, whereas you did for Manus. I don't know if that's still the case, but you definitely needed it before, right? So Manus is another sort of one-click AI agent. It was groundbreaking when it first came out, but honestly, I would say like it gets stuck a lot. As for example, you can see here, it stopped building out the project. And also it's not really one click. Like if you look at this, it's like we had to tell it what to do. It goes back and forth. It spends a lot of time browsing the web, etc. It's a lot slower than building out something directly with Genspark directly, right? So, for example, the game that I was showing you a second ago, the game was built out literally in minutes. This was actually a medieval game that we built Manus, but I wouldn't say that's on the same level as the game that we built out with Genspark, all right? So if we go back to Genspark, let me show you an example right here. So this is the game that we actually built. I would just say the UI and the coding looks a lot nicer, right? And also this game actually has a point, whereas with Manus, it doesn't really have a point. Like if you go to that medieval game right here, what we're doing here, mate, we're running through some medieval woods with something that looks like a cheeky post box. The graphics are a bit messy, like you can see, and there's no real point to the game. Whereas if we go back to Spark, it's actually created something that's playable and interesting and fun. So that's a big difference here. And also we can compare side by side the AI SEO content writer. So this is the one built with Manus. Let me pull up the one that we built with Genspark, all right? Which one would you say is better? So this is Manus and this is Genspark. And you see how Genspark is like linking directly to my funnels. So it's great for lead generation. And then also if we go down here, we can plug in our API key and create a custom API key over here. Whereas that's a bit more hidden over here, so the UI is not as nice. And then you also see how it's included information about me with an image of me, etc. So the UI is just much nicer, and this is a much more impressive tool. Whereas something like this, it's so basic. It's not bad. It would have been impressive like the first time you saw that a year ago. But I think now you're looking for something like this, which is a bit more interesting, it's got a bit more magic to it. It links directly to my social media as well. I didn't even give it the links, but it just literally links out to me. And that was super easy to build out. But you see, let's just check that works. Yeah, so that links directly to me as well. So I would say Genspark is just a totally different generation to Manus as well. Like, for example, if we go inside here and we go inside Manus, we'll start a new task at the same time. And we'll take one of the prompts that we got previously for Genspark. So let me grab this prompt for the SEO game, or let's take the prompt for the AI SEO content writer tool. So we'll grab that, and side by side, we'll compare how quick Manus is versus Genspark, all right? So we'll plug in the same prompt, as you can see. And you see here as well, like Manus, it can't upload all the text as one long prompt. So we'll click enter and then we'll go into Genspark and it just goes off and starts doing its magic straight away, right? It's creating the tool straight away. So look at the speed difference. Genspark is already coding out and building that bad boy out, already coding, whereas Manus is not even sure what we need to do yet. So there's a big difference between Manus and Genspark in terms of their capabilities and how fast they are, what they can do, and how fast you're going to get things done. Bear in mind, like if you're waiting for Manus to get this stuff done for you, you might be waiting hours at this point. If you compare the speed difference here, this is already almost finished coding, whereas this is still thinking about it and figuring out, okay, what do we need to do and how do we need to do it? And you see here how it's having set up a development environment, whereas Genspark's already got that set up and it's boom. Let's just get this done. Let's get it over with. So yeah, I would say it's a totally different generation, way more powerful. And by the time Manus has finished thinking about things, Genspark has probably already deployed it. That's a big difference right here. And then also inside Genspark, you can also generate images, videos. you can do deep research, and it can also make outbound calls for you, none of which Manus can do directly for you. So there's some of the biggest differences. And that's why I would say Genspark is my favorite AI agent so far. So thanks so much for watching. If you want to get all my best prompts, tips, workflows for Genspark and Manus, feel free to get that inside the AI Profit Boardroom. This is a community focused on making more money and saving time with AI. Also comes with an amazing classroom full of automations, AI agents, templates, etc. If you just want to set up your first AI agent today, you can just download the workflow, import that into NA10, and you're good to go. The same, for example, for all these AI agents workflows, like you see right here, we've got tons of AI agents if you love that stuff. And also inside the SAP section, we're updating this pretty much every single day. Like you can see with the Genspark section, we've just added tons of SAPs and different prompts for that. And if you ever get stuck in between the live weekly Q&A calls, then you can actually post inside the community and ask any questions you have. Feel free to get that link in the comments description. Look at that. Genspark's already built the thing, mate. Manus is still thinking about it. It's encountered an issue. Genspark just went, nah, we're just going to go off and start building that ASAP, and it's already deployed it, right? So Manus had an error. Genspark already coded out the tool. That's the difference. And if you want to get a free one-to-one SEO strategy session that shows you how to get more leads, traffic, and sales with SEO based on what's working for us and our happy clients, feel free to get that on this free link building acceleration session. You get a custom tailored game plan so you can generate more leads, sales, and profits from your website. You have to answer any questions live on call directly with our team. And this is based on what's working for our happy clients, like you see right here. So if you want to get more free leads, customers, sales with SEO, increase your profit margins and stop paying for ads, then feel free to book that in. Link in the comments description. Appreciate you watching. Bye-bye.